because but it will remind you.
Thank you.
So, our today's expert is Dr. Pramod Kumar Panday, who is Director DCMR, Directorate of Port Water Fisheries Research. So far as the ICR is concerned, we have only one research institute which is working on the cold water fisheries, and our who is heading that, who is the director of that institute, rather directorate, Dr. A.K. Panday and Dr. Pramod Kumar Panday Sahab, he is here. We are highly thankful to Pramod Kumar Panday Sahab that he has accepted our invitation, just despite his busy schedule and despite his Dr. Panday is always on. If we enter about him from the office here, either he has meeting in Delhi or in Northeast or in, you can say, southern states, and he is always being the director of a prestigious institute. He is prepared in various meetings, in various decision-making policies of the government of India, in various states also. So we are highly thankful you, sir. You have accepted our invitation.
Thanks.
So. And today he is deliberating on a very important talk, that is the recirculated agriculture grass, which very much relevant so far as the cold water sector, or we can say trout farming is concerned. Without wasting time, I request our today's expert director, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks, sir. Being told by you here, I'm going to talk about recirculating aquaculture technology. So, at the name itself, it indicates recirculate. It means the same water is being recirculated. So that way we are conserving the water. And the water is one of the most scarce resource as on today. Isn't it? Though 71% of universe is water, but still when it comes to the fresh water, that is only 3% actually. And out of those 3% also, mainly it is being used for in the form of ice, snow. Less than 1% is only available for human beings, for animals, for irrigation and all that. That is one of the important things, and especially when it comes to the hilly terrain, that is the hilly region, especially Himalaya. You can see that though we get a lot of water, but since terrain is hilly, so all the water is draining down. Nothing is being retained. So in Hindi we say कि पहाड़ों की जवानी और पानी दोनों ही उसके काम नहीं आता है. ये सुना आपने? Goes down the plains, isn't it? All the Kashmir water goes to Pakistan. Likewise, in other parts, in Uttarakhand, it all goes to the plains like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and all that. Because it is difficult to retain those waters. And Javani, because since the employment opportunities are lesser in the elite terrains, so most of the people go to Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, and all that. So if we can retain these two things, so definitely we can generate a lot of opportunity, a lot of employment for the people and for the benefit of the people who are living over there. So therefore this recirculating aquaculture system becomes very, very important. And especially this is very important for the fishes which are high value fishes. Why high value fishes? The reason being, when we are going for a recirculating aquaculture system, so the cost of installation or initial expenditure, capital cost is really high. Not only that, even operational cost is also high, because it is fully in a controlled conditions. So when it is in controlled conditions, you have a lot of paraphernalia on which we are working. So once cost of input is high, so if your product is selling at a high rate, then only you can recoup the expenditure, otherwise you cannot. So say for example, we are using this recirculating aquaculture system for rainbow trout, that is Amphorhynchus mykiss. which is selling at a little higher price. At what rate it is selling in Jammu Kashmir? 500. But if you go to the even many 5-star hotels and also there it is selling 1500, 1600, even 2000 also. But otherwise also in Uttarakhand we are selling minimum at the rate of rupees 600. But if you buy the other fish like rohu, katla, common carp, grass carp, so what is the rate? 200, 250. Okay. Why I am telling this? What is the idea? Idea is, since here, when we are operating this recirculating aquaculture system, the production cost itself is very, very high. It is coming around, say, almost 250, 300 rupees per kg. So if you are spending 250 and 300 rupees to produce 1 kg of the fish, so let us see you are producing rohu katla billion. Your production cost itself is 200, 300 and you are selling at the rate of rupees 250. So obviously it is not going to work out. But if you are producing rainbow trout, which is selling at the rate of even rupees 500, let us say. So even if we spend 250 rupees or even 300 rupees per kg, so at least you are getting the profit and benefit of rupees 200 minimum. So there you can do it, but you cannot use the recirculating aquaculture system as on today the kind of technology we have to produce rohu, katla, mrigal, grass carp and so on. That is why it is very, very important that recirculating aquaculture system should be used for the fishes which are having the high market. So that is also selling at a very high price. We have somebody from Manipur here? No. Anybody from Northeast? No. So there this Osteoboma belangar is selling minimum at the rate of rupees 600. And of course at times it sells even at rate of 1000, 1200 also. So what I mean to say in nutshell, that the fishes which are having the high value, for them we can use it. Next slide please. So if you see here, what is the global scenario? Where do we stand as of today? So if you look back into the history, so you'll find that once upon a time it was the marine fish, it was the sea fish which was dominating the overall production. But slowly it is aquaculture which is taking up. So now you see what is the present production. It is somewhere around worldwide, if you see total fish production is 178 million metric tons. Out of that, now 88 million tons, almost 50%, little less than 50% is coming from the aquaculture. But if that was not the case earlier, long ago. And from that again, out of that 88, 33 is coming from the marine aquaculture. And inland aquaculture is now taking over again. This is 54.78 metric million tons. So that is where we stand, and that is quite visible from the graph also you can see. Not only that, if you see the lighter blue color, that is the downwards, so you can find out now when it comes to the marine production, that is sea production, sea fish production, so that is almost stagnating for many, many years. There is no more increase in the marine production. While if you see the other pictures, especially the red color, top color, then you can see that it is having a growing trend where the production is increasing. So what does it tell? It tells that we are really doing extremely well when it comes to the aquaculture, and there is a lot of scope to do much more, much better in aquaculture. Not only that, if you compare with the agriculture for that matter, so most of the land, let us if you take the case of India, so most of the land which is available for agriculture, which is suitable for agriculture, that is being utilized for the agriculture production. Now no more land is available for agriculture where we can have the horizontal expansion. Whatever land is available, that is shrinking actually, if you see, because people are constructing houses, people are using for industrial purposes, even see population is increasing. So in one family where one house was sufficient, now we need 2 houses, 3 houses. three brothers, three houses. So land is shrinking. So what I am trying to convey that there is no possibility of having increase in agricultural production through horizontal expansion. If at all agricultural production has to increase, there has to be vertical expansion. It means per unit area production has to increase, whether it is wheat, rice, whatever production you are taking. But when it comes to fisheries and aquaculture, so still we have a vast area in the form of rivers, lakes, reservoirs, ponds, tanks, and a lot of waters are available which can be utilized for the aquaculture production. So either most of the water bodies which are available, including the sea coast. How much sea coast India is having, you know? Coastal line, yeah. 8129, yeah. So it's quite a big coastal line we have. That is again which can be utilized for cage culture, seaweed culture and so on. And apart from that, of course, network of the rivers are there, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus and so many. And apart from that, large number of reservoirs, that is around 3.0 million hectare. Then ponds are there. So all these areas are there which is either underutilized or unutilized, which can be really used for the fish production. Not only that, if you take, I don't know how much you know about the agriculture production which is happening in the country, or for that matter even the horticulture production. So when the people from the agriculture, those who are practicing agriculture, whether it is paddy cultivation, wheat cultivation, or maybe some other millets, etc., which they are producing, when they talk in terms of per hectare, they get the profit of from 25,000 to 50,000 rupees maximum, not more than that. But if we talk about the fish culture, fish production, so you forget the rainbow trout and all, that is very precious and high value fishes. Even if you are producing rohu, katla, mrigal, that is the normal fishes, then also you can see one can easily achieve a net profit of somewhere around 4 to 5 lakhs per hectare per year. So what I am trying to say, when the people from the agriculture sector, they talk about the profit, they talk in terms of 1,000 rupees. But when we talk in terms of aquaculture or fish production, we normally talk in terms of lakhs. So that's the kind of opportunity which is available for the employment generation, from the income generation, for the livelihood. So it means it is having a huge opportunity as on today. So especially those students who are doing their graduation and post-graduation fishery, so they should feel really happy that they are in the sector which is still growing sector, which is the sun-rising sector. So a lot of opportunities are there. Next slide please. So if you see about the India, where do we stand? So total fish production, how much it is presently? 16.2. And out of that, around 10.3 is coming from the aquaculture. Okay. Aquaculture I am telling. Even if you talk about the inland fish production, that is little more than this. So, this when it comes to the marine production, it is somewhere ranging around 4 million metric ton for many, many years. It is not increasing at all. Then, if you see how much export is being carried out from India, that is in terms of the weight, it is 1.4 million metric ton. In terms of value, 7 to 8 billions. In terms of US dollar, and when it comes to Indian rupees, that is around 57,586. Not only that, you will be surprised to know that whatever agriculture products are being exported from India, the seafood, that is the fish, is occupying the topmost position in terms of the export, which is the foreign exchange which is being held by the country. And what is the current growth rate? That is around 6 to 7%. Invariably since last 10-15 years. That is one of the highest growth rate in terms of, when it comes to the agriculture, what is the agriculture growth rate in the country, you know? How much it is? Hardly 2 to 3%. While the way economy is growing, wherein we are talking about India, presently it is the fifth largest economy of the world, and then we are talking that it should be third largest economy within few years, maybe by 2030. So it has to grow more than 6-7% continuously. But then agriculture sector as a whole is growing at the rate of 2 to 3%. And then there are sectors like when it comes to the agriculture and allied, so sectors like fisheries, aquaculture, then maybe even your egg production, poultry, milk production. These are the sectors which are really doing well, so that we can really contribute substantially towards the growing economy. But then this 6 to 7% of the growth which we are achieving at present is expected to slow down. The reason being, now a lot of resource limitations will be coming to the picture. A lot of environmental concerns are there, because people are talking about the environmental auditing, people are talking about the environmental economics, people are talking about the carbon footprint, people are talking about the global warming, that how much it is impacting the resources. Because now, so far, what was our idea? To have more and more production from per unit area, whether it is agriculture, whether it is horticulture, whether it is aquaculture. But now, people are putting more emphasis on the sustainability, that it should be sustainable. So it will be sustainable only if it is not having any adverse impact on the environment. So since environmental issues are coming, environmental regulations are coming into the picture day by day, that you should not be having more of the carbon footprint, you should not be having more of the pollutants which are releasing in the adjacent water bodies and vicinity. So therefore, it will have adverse impact on the growth rate. So it is likely to come down over the period of time. So therefore, we need to look into that, and we must be prepared how to go about. Not only that, nowadays even consumer awareness is also there. Now people are asking, okay, this product is coming from which place? Whether it is coming from the polluted water, whether it is coming from the rivers, whether it is coming from the open water, whether it is coming from the pond tanks, or is it coming from the recirculating aquaculture system? Because if you see the fish which you are getting from Dal Lake, for example, it will be much fresh, having the more beautiful taste in comparison to the fish which is coming from some other small pockets. Likewise, suppose some fish is coming from recirculating aquaculture system. So it may have the off flavor because of environmental conditions. So therefore, we need to develop the technology so that this off flavor can be done away. For that purpose, we are doing the depuration. What is the depuration? We are keeping the fish for 10 to 15 days in some different kind of environment so that it becomes normal. But then again, 10 to 15 days is a pretty long time. The farmer cannot afford to do that. So therefore, now the role of the scientist comes into the picture, that they are supposed to develop some kind of the technology so that it can really reduce the period of 10 to 15 days, maybe 5 days or maybe 1 or 2 days, that depuration can be done so that fish becomes really good in taste and people will start liking. They will not, most of the people will not like the off flavor and all that, isn't it? Therefore, farming fish in sustainable way is the only way of life which has to be taken into account if we are really interested taking into future development. So as a human being, what is our responsibility? To do the things in a sustainable manner so that we leave something for our coming generation in a proper manner. So that they should not be cursing us. Suppose your forefathers, if they would have done something and you are facing the problem today, so then you are going to curse your forefathers, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So being the civilized society, being the educated society, it is our responsibility so that when we leave this world, go to Jannat, or Jahannam, wherever, whether you go to Jannat or Jahannam, so that depends on our karma, yes. But then at least we should leave this place where it should not become Jahannam, it should become Jannat. So that is our moral responsibility and duty, being the educated lot. Next slide, please. So what are the limitations of the traditional aquaculture if you see? So what is the natural production which is happening in a pond? So normally we are producing how much? 0.4 to 1 kg of the fish per square meter or cubic meter, whatever you say. So it means if you convert it into per hectare, how many kg it will come? 4,000 to 10,000, isn't it? Am I right? Yeah, 400 आएगा, कितना आएगा? 0.4 multiplied by 10,000, how much? 4,000. So it means in the normal pond conditions, we are producing somewhere around 4,000 to 10,000 kg, that is 4 ton to 10 ton per hectare per year, isn't it? Because there are limitations in terms of the dissolved oxygen and then diurnal dynamics which is operating in the natural water body. But when you go for the intensive farming, let us say, okay, so how much we can produce in the intensive farm? Maximum 40 tons, not more than that, isn't it? But when it comes to again your say flow through system, that is the raceways, so maximum how much they are producing? 30 kg maximum, not more than that. But when it comes to recirculatory aquaculture system, there is a scope and possibility of producing more than 100 kg per cubic meter. So if you say 100 kg per cubic meter, it means if we extrapolate it in terms of per hectare per 30 years, how much will it come? So presently we are not producing, but then there is a scope. Presently also we are producing. Even at DCFR, that is in my institute, wherein we are producing this rainbow trout, we have achieved up to the 400 tons per hectare per year. So you compare 4 tons, that is 4,000 kg, to 400 tons, even presently what we are producing. So there is a huge margin, there is a huge scope to produce more of the fish which is really protein rich. Because we know that population is growing, isn't it? And not only that, today we as a country, we say that we are self-sufficient when it comes to the food security. But still we are lagging behind like anything when it comes to the nutrition security. How many people are there who are really getting protein, carbohydrate, fat, minerals, vitamins, everything, as much as it is required to our body? Not everybody is getting it. Still large number of people are there who are eating rice, chutney, or maybe dal, maybe sabji, or if dal is there, sabji is not there, if sabji is there, dal is not there. Chutney, all of you know, isn't it? Yes. So when many people are there who are eating even rice and chutney also. But if you are eating every day rice and chutney, it is not going to take care of your requirement of the body. So therefore, fish is one of the very, very important source which can really take care of the most of the nutrient requirement of our body. So here there is a great scope. We have the water bodies which are either unexploited or underexploited. We have the growing population which needs the food. We have the presently requirement of nutrition security which needs to be addressed. Not only that, even if you see long term, if you do not address these issues, so what will happen? We may start producing the progeny which are dwarf, which are retarded in the mind if they are not getting their nutritional requirement fulfilled properly. Not only that, even if you see, if you go into the history and if you try to look into that, you will find that most of the learned people in this country are Bengalis. Okay? Whether it is Subhash Chandra Bose, Sarashchandra Chattopadhyay, Rabindranath Tagore, Meghnad Saha, large number are there in comparison to any other states, I mean to say, in the country. So, of course, there is no scientific evidence because no research has been carried out, but then there is every possibility, as all of us know, that Bengalis is one of the most important people who eat a lot of fish. And as you know, that fish is rich in the omega-3 fatty acids. And for the development of the brain, omega-3 fatty acid is very, very important, which we do not get from most of the other food which we are eating. So what I mean to say, even when we are feeding properly through fish, so we can have a very good generation coming up who can take care of the country and future and the requirement of the people. So therefore, fish becomes important. We need to produce more of the fish, and this aquaculture system can be one of the very, very important way in terms of diversification to produce more of the fish. Next slide, please. So now if you see water, I will go a little nearer, I am unable to see from here properly. And then downwards we have given water recirculation intensity. So when we are having this farming technology, where water requirement and oxygen requirement is flow through, you need somewhere around 50,000 liters of the water, or maybe even 1 lakh liters of the water. Because as you know, in the flow through system, water is entering from one end and then it is continuously passing. But when it comes further down, you can see where we are using in areas, we are reusing the water. So water requirement has come down from 50,000 to somewhere around between 1,000 liter to 10,000 liter. So it means what? We are conserving the water also and reducing the water requirement. And if you come down further, so where zero exchange of water is happening and taking place. So there are almost, even in 100 liters of water, we are in position to produce 1 kg of the fish. But presently, where do we stand? What we are practicing in our institute, where we have the RAS, there we are utilizing almost 1,000 liters of the water to produce 1 kg of the fish. That is where we stand. And then likewise, that as we are moving down, oxygen consumption is also increasing. And then you see, you can see that denitrification is happening where the ammonia is being converted to the nitrite, nitrite is being converted to the nitrate through the biofilter system. Biofilter mechanism is there. So it is being taken care of. Next slide, please. So how much land is required when it comes to the fish farming, you can see. So in the pond-based system, to produce 1 kg of the fish, how much production we are getting? Already I have told you 0.4 to 1 kg per cubic meter. And for that, you can see that hectare per 100 tons. To produce 100 tons, we need around 10 to 25 hectare of the land in pond system. But when it comes to the last one, that is recirculated aquaculture system, about which I am talking, to produce 100 tons, we need only 0.1 hectare. So it means there is a 1 by 100 reduction in terms of the land requirement. And water requirement already I have spoken that earlier in the raceway system, in this flow through system or raceway system, we need somewhere around 50,000 to 1 lakh liter to produce 1 kg. While in RAS system, which we have developed as on today, we need only 1,000 liter to produce 1 kg of the fish. There is also possibility with the improvement of the technology, we can bring down the water requirement up to the 100 liters. Next slide, please. Now you see the environmental performance, how the impact on the environment, as we are talking about the carbon footprint, how it is polluting the environment. So if you see in terms of the phosphorus, so to produce 4 to 5 kg phosphorus is required to produce 1 ton of the fish. That is in the normal conditions. Okay? But when we are using the model fish farm, there is a reduction in the phosphorus of 76%. But if we are using RAS, we are reducing the phosphorus which is coming out, which we are dumping into the adjacent environment. 70 to 90% reduction is there. Then in terms of the nitrogen also, we normally need 35 to 40 kg of the nitrogen to produce 1 ton of the fish. And there is a reduction, if it is in the farm, that is the normal farm, it is 50% reduction. It means what? 50% nitrogen is being utilized, 50% of the nitrogen is going as a waste. But when it comes into the recirculated aquaculture system, it is having the capability, because since we are using the bioremediations, that is in the form of biofiltration and all that, so almost 90% is being utilized for the production, the biomass production. Only remaining 10%, or maybe if it is coming 30%, then also some 50-60% we are releasing into the environment. Next please. What are the advantages of recirculated aquaculture system? So normally in the raceway system, it takes 10 to 15 months to produce the fish. And the same level of the fish can be produced in recirculated aquaculture system in 6 to 7 months. So almost we are reducing the culture period by half. Then even in fact we have developed a feed. I don't know, especially the students. Some of you are from doing PG also?
Yes.
So you must be knowing what is the FCR. Most of the pieces. What is the FCR?
And how much the fish consumes?
Yeah, no, but what is the conversion ratio? Normally your teacher has taught you.
So the less the value of FCR.
No, but normally it is 1.5 or something, isn't it?
Yes.
We have developed the feed where you can see that is developed by our institute, that is Directorate of Cold Fisheries Researches. They are 0.9 to 1.2. It means what? You feed 1 kg of the feed and you get 1 kg of the fish. That is one of the something rare. There are so many institutions working in the country. 30 fisheries colleges are there in the country. Isn't it?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I am speaking on your head.
So you'll be thinking what it is. She'll become more attentive.
I am more attentive.
And she's very receptive, girl.
Otherwise, she will become.
Ali, very
She
receptive.
will get disturbed also. So, most of these fisheries colleges, then even ICR is having 7-8 fisheries institutions who are working in the country. But they have achieved that FCR of somewhere 1.5 and so on. And of course, all the institutions, including Central Institute of Freshwater Aquaculture, Central Institute of Brackish Aquaculture, Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, Central Institute of Fisheries Education, Mumbai, almost all the institutions say that they have developed some or other feed. But none of the feed has been commercialized. Whatever feed farmers are using, that is either produced by CP feed, Avantika, Godrej, Grovel, and so on. But we have developed a feed, of course, it is in a PPP mode, that is public-private partnership in the Grovel, which is giving an improved feed efficiency ratio, that is 0.9 to 1.2.
So that is under RAS or without RAS?
This is RAS as well as raceways also.
Okay.
Even we have tested in Jammu Kashmir also.
Yes.
I don't know the place. Well,
Anantnag.
there also we have got the feed which is being used by the Department of Fisheries, Jammu and Kashmir, and then the feed which we have developed, we use simultaneously in the raceway in Anantnag. And we got 40% higher growth, the feed which was our feed. So that's the kind of difference we have achieved. Not only that, recently, since this we have developed the private partnership, so they have started exporting to Russia this feed. So it means it is so much good. Still, it means there is a lot of scope that whatever feed has been developed, we can improve upon it. But when it comes to the other advantage of RS, you can see it also makes aquaculture possible in places where conditions are naturally not conducive. Like say, in Ladakh, now we have established one hatchery using this recirculated aquaculture system. So far Ladakh was importing all the seeds either from Jammu Kashmir or from Himachal or some other places. Now first time they have started producing, because I think some of you must have visited Ladakh. You have seen that kind of condition in Ladakh is there, that is entirely different, very peculiar. When microclimatic conditions are entirely different in Ladakh. Not like what we have here. So there also they have started producing. So that is what I said, the places where it is not very conducive, there also we can use this RAS system. Then better health management due to better water quality control and easier biosecurity, because we are in position to control. In open water we don't have that much control. All of a sudden you find that a lot of turbidity comes and farmer is losing all its rainwater out and all the crops. Then lower eutrophication potential, as concentrated effluent can be easily treated. We are treating it. Then easy nutrient valorization is possible through sludge and effluent removal. Whatever sludge is being developed, that can be utilized for the production of the biogas or for biofertilizers, which can be utilized in the agriculture. Aquatic emission of exotic fishes can be curtailed due to the controlled conditions. Because if you take the case of rainbow trout, so that actually it is not supposed to go to the natural water body because it is carnivorous in the nature, which is likely to have the adverse impact on the biodiversity. So when you are doing in the controlled conditions, the chance can be minimized. Otherwise also when it comes to the cold water aquaculture, except rainbow trout, we do not have any other fish species on which we are working. Yes, please come. Next please. Next slide. So what is this circular aquaculture system? Finally, as I told you, it is mainly being used for the high value fish. So if you take worldwide, what are the fish species? And what is the recirculation of aquaculture is essentially a technology for farming fish or other organic aquatic organism by reusing the water in the production system. The technology is based on the use of mechanical and biological filters, and the method can be, in principle, be used for any species grown in aquaculture. It can be used for any species, already I told you, but only thing is, since this is one of the economic benefit, is very, very important. See, if it is not economically viable, it doesn't make any sense. So therefore, only I have given the name of some of the species which are really high value fish. By culturing those species, we can really derive the benefit to the farmers. Next, please. What are the different components? So actually, if you see, you start from the top, there is the fish tank, if you can see. So whatever water is coming from there, so that is being, first stage, it is having some sludge, solids, so that is leftover feed, excreta, etc. You can move that side. Otherwise, I am obstructing you. Even you can go there, let's come here. So, the first stage, we are removing those sludge. Okay. Then we have the biological filters. So you remove the bigger particles, now we are left with the smaller particles, or that is mainly the nitrogenous compound, mainly. Most important waste is nitrogenous compound, which is coming out. So for that, as you know this nitrogen cycle which is operating. How the nitrogen cycle operates? There are nitrogen fixing bacteria which fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the form of the ammonia. Ammonia gets converted by nitrosomonas, nitrospira, some of the bacteria are there, they convert it into the nitrite. Then nitrite is converted into the nitrate, that is by using the nitrobacter. And then this nitrate is converted into the molecular nitrogen through the process of denitrification. So by providing this biofilters, what is the biofilter? Nothing, it is provided with some gravel, some large surface area. When the surface area is bigger, it provides the opportunity for many of the bacteria to settle down. So there, what we do, we try to increase the surface area. How will we increase the surface area? We will put a small, some particles, etc. So that, and then again, that those particles should be rough. Suppose something is very smooth, so you are getting only this much. But within this area, suppose zigzag. So you are getting more surface area, isn't it? So there it means it will provide more number of the microbes to settle down, which are capable of converting from ammonia to nitrite and then to nitrate. Out of this ammonia and nitrite, which one is more toxic?
Nitrite.
She is saying ammonia, you are saying nitrite. Boliye. हैं? ये मेरा बड़ा I love this question. बोलिए, can we arrive at some conclusion? Which one is more toxic? Actually, it is nitrite. Because nitrite is lethal. Ammonia is see, nitrite is lethal, ammonia is toxic. So which one is more dangerous, lethal or toxic? Lethal. But when it comes to the aquaculture, it is ammonia, not the nitrite. The reason being, nitrite gets converted into nitrate very fast. So it doesn't build up so much so that it really becomes toxic to the fish. While ammonia, it remains for a longer period of the time, especially unionized ammonia, and its concentration goes up. Therefore, practically it is ammonia when it comes to the aquaculture. So both of you are correct, isn't it? But if you talk only in terms of chemistry, it is the nitrite, but not the ammonia. इधर कैसे पीछे कैसे आ गया स्लाइड आगे करते हैं आप लोग पीछे कर देगा then there is again possibility since a lot of carbon dioxide will be generated, so to overcome that, and then since stocking density is very high in the RAS system, what we are putting aeration, that is additional oxygenation, and then there is a possibility of adjusting the pH also, because normally, as you know, it should be alkaline in nature, more than 7. So somehow there is a reduction, so that we try to add some bases so that we can increase the pH. And then further oxygenation is given, so that high, because especially cold water fishes, they need high level of that dissolved oxygen, so that have dissolved oxygen, and then if there is any possibility of disease and all, so disinfection is also carried out so that this process is completed. We get the pure water again. Then from there water is coming and solid removal system is there. The purpose is to remove the faces, uneaten feed, etc., which goes to the biological unit, the biofilters, where to detoxify ammonia especially. Already I have explained the process, some component is there. That goes to the degassing and oxygenation. So that there we remove some of the gases like carbon dioxide, maybe sometimes methane is also a possibility. And then that goes for disinfection, and then finally that same water is coming back to the fish tank. Next please. Then these are some of the choice of the filtration system. What are the, depending upon the requirement, what are the filtration system which we can use. So different kind of the filter systems are available. I'm not going to talk because this is mainly the engineering part which has to be taken into account. Next please. Understanding the metabolic requirements and excretion rate of the fish, key for designing a RAS system. So if you see here the chart right side, there is the oxygen consumption of rainbow trout. So at the different temperature, the oxygen requirement differs. So when it is the 5 degrees Celsius, you can see what is the oxygen requirement. When it is the 10 degree, when it is the 15 degree, what is the oxygen requirement. And how the, depending on the body weight also, it is going to be decided. And what are the requirement over there if you see. So to produce 1 kg per kg of the feed, which we are giving, around 0.3 kg of the oxygen requirement. Then 1 kg of feed, if you are giving, that is having the 45% of the protein. Especially for the rainbow trout, we need, since it is the carnivorous fish, we need the high level of the protein in comparison to the other fishes, that is roe, and so on. Then 40 gram of the ammonia per kg of the feed we are producing. around 0.41 kg of the carbon dioxide per kg of the feed we are producing, 0.25 to 3 kg of the faces coming per kg of the feed. So that indicates what should be our design, so that our design should be positioned to take care of that. It means what I am trying to convey. For example, we are putting these biofilters. So what should be the size of the biofilters? How much surface area should be available? Because though we say that it will be having the nitrosomonas, nitrobacter and all that, but then it will have its own capacity only to convert from ammonia to nitrite to nitrate. It is not that you put some 1 lakh nitrosomonas and you expect that it will convert whole of ammonia. That is not possible, isn't it? So it means your design should be such so that so many of the microbes, that is nitrosomonas, nitrobacter, are in position to settle down. So much surface area must be provided. So that has to be taken into account, that how much nitrogen we can produce per kg of the product we can really come out with the proper design. Next please. Understanding the requirement of nitrifying microorganisms. Key to improve the water quality. Water quality is one of the most important factors in the resurfaced aquaculture system. You can see ammonia is a major nitrogen excretory product which is excreted through gills. Free ammonia is toxic to fishes at low as 0.02 to 0.6 mg per liter. RS system utilizes natural nitrifying microorganisms for removing ammonia. And this is the formula how it works. So that I am not going to do. I am not a man from chemistry. Okay. Next please. Oxygen and alkalinity requirement. So that as you can see, gram ammonia oxidation required 4.18 gram of oxygen and 7.05 gram of alkalinity is required. Alkalinity of source water should be more than 100. In terms of calcium carbonate, or it is maintained through addition of calcium carbonate or NaHCO3. Suppose alkalinity is less, then we can think in addition of this either calcium carbonate or hydrocarbon. Then biofilters provide optimum environment for growth of nitrifying microorganisms. Example, moving bed biological reactor, fluidizing sand filters. These are some of the biofilters which has to be used. Next please. What are the current limitations of RAS technology? The first and foremost, that is high initial investment, and most of the farmers are not in position. So therefore, we have the Prime Minister Matsya Sampada Yojana, under which special provision has been made. So entrepreneurs or progressive farmers should come forward to make use of this. Another important aspect is energy required. We need the power supply 24 hours. Because since we are having the high stocking density, and if there is a power failure, whole the fish is going to die. Because oxygen level will go down, carbon dioxide level will increase, therefore there will be problem and issues. So therefore we need to have the power backup. Generator has to be there. So obviously it is adding the cost, isn't it? Which we do not have in the normal raceway culture and other systems. Then lack of technical know-how and inadequate design resulting in crop and system failure. Know-how is also very poor as on today. We are talking about RAS, but then how many of you are still in position to conceptualize, I do not know. So I am talking blah 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 since half an hour. But still, unless until you see yourself, you are not in position to visualize actually. Then of course it is visualizing, and apart from that, working out in small things. And then in some of the European countries they have developed the RAS, but then it is just not feasible and possible that we bring out straight with those technology and adopt it here. We need to work out indigenously so that we can really address the issues which are required. Then research gap with respect to indigenous technology knowledge I have spoken. Knowledge on commercial RAS operation and management is not publicly available due to the confidentiality of the data. It is not available. So making the RAS technology more expensive. Next please. Addressing the research gap, RAS technology is a multidisciplinary science, as already I told you, so you need the engineer, We need the aquaculture, microbiology, biotechnology, environmental science and chemistry people. But we are fighting one is and others. So unless until we have a very good team, we cannot design a very good design. Next please. What is the first area of research and development? Improving the fish welfare. A standard operating protocol must be developed for each species because the oxygen requirement, then even the tolerance capacity, alkalinity requirement, feed requirement, then its market value, all this is going to differ. So therefore we need to develop for each species separately one system. See, when we talk in the fisheries and aquaculture, we talk fish as if all the fishes are same. But it does not happen when we talk about the agriculture. See, there is a separate practice for the wheat, separate practice for paddy, for millets, likewise for buffalo something different, for cow something different, isn't it? For goat something different. But हम फिशरीज में जब बात करते हैं तो क्या बोलते हैं? सब फिश एक जैसे हो गए. So there is an urgent need that we recognize this, that what is the requirement of a particular fish species and then work out accordingly. Then understand physiological limits and optimum level of dissolved oxygen, ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, temperature, total solids of the aquatic animals still require much attention. How much its tolerance limit, how much is the requirement of dissolved oxygen, how much alkalinity it can tolerate, how much carbon dioxide it can tolerate, what is the feed requirement, all those things needs to be worked out. The knowledge gap concentrating hydraulic retention time of tanks and system, that is engineering part. I also cannot be person to explain you very well. Last one is system specific feed can be a game changer for the successful operation of the RS, because feed is very, very important, as it is not depending on the natural feed, it is 100% on the artificial feed. So proper feed has to be there depending on the particular species which you are going to culture. Next please. Water pumping is one of the significant contributors to the cost incurred for electricity users, therefore alternative pumping system needs to be explored to reduce the electricity cost. It means what? Suppose if we can develop the solar system, so obviously we will be reducing the cost of production. So that is one of the important areas where we need to work. Models need to be developed to utilize renewable energies, there is maybe geothermal, maybe solar, maybe wind energy depending on the place. That will vary from place to place. Utilization of waste heat from industries such as hot or cold water effluents, because sometimes we need to increase the temperature. Because suppose, normally if you take the case of rainbow trout, so if temperature goes below 5 degrees Celsius, its growth will be adversely impacted. So if there are some source of water which is having high temperature, if that can be utilized, so we can even produce or increase the growth during the high winter seasons also. The utilization of solid waste for biogas production for operating electricity generators could be a win-win situation. It means whatever sludge is being generated, if we can utilize that one for biogas production or energy production, so that we are having utilized this waste from waste to wealth. So we are producing the electricity also through using this. Next please. Then fine solid removal is still an issue in RAS. So whatever large particles of solid waste is there, that we are in position to remove it. But when it comes to the fine particles of the solid, which are being generated through uneaten feed or excreta, we are not in position to remove it properly. So therefore, it is deteriorating the water quality. So if we can work out through some research, some mechanism where we are in position to remove the smaller particles also, so our system will become more effective, especially the particles which are lesser than 30 micrometers. The research should focus on off-flavor reduction. As already I told you in the beginning itself, that whatever fish we are producing in RS, it is having a different flavor. So that to overcome that, we are doing some 7 to 15 days of depuration, we are keeping in the normal water so that it becomes all right. So that 7 to 15 days are pretty long time. If we can reduce that period so that fish become good and people like the taste. Then the uses of chemicals, antibiotics is strictly restricted in areas as it will have the adverse impact on the nitrifying and other bacteria. So suppose there is a disease problem, then how to address it? It means we need to develop some kind of the biological based pesticides or insecticides or whatever you call it to take care of that. Next please. Reduction of nitrate and phosphorus waste and carbon dioxide through optimization of nitrification process, or maybe we can introduce some agriculture, aquaponics. Nowadays, people are also talking about bioflavonoids.
Yes.
So where you are using the biofloc, aquaponics, RAS, there is a scope and possibility we can combine it. So if you can combine it, then definitely that system will take care of all these aspects. Risk management of RAS to reduce the failure, because if there is a power failure or there is some problem, so therefore there is an urgent need wherein we go for the use of the artificial intelligence. So now it is high time we should think in terms of using the artificial intelligence so that we can incorporate and we can tell you now your fish needs food, now water quality is deteriorating, it needs to be improved. So all those things can be predicted using the AI so that you did not, because it needs 24 hours monitoring. Suppose you are sleeping at home, nobody is there, there is a power failure, all the stock has gone. So if AI is there, if there is a power failure, automatically it will be in position to create the situation where you come to know, or maybe it will be in position to start your generator. Because generator hai, but if you are sleeping, nobody is there to start. You will start only when you come to know that there is electricity failure. How do you know? So there has to be some kind of the mechanism which will tell you even if you are sleeping, if there is a power failure, you have to start the generator. Or maybe some kind of mechanism so that the moment electricity fails, generator automatically starts. Or there can be some kind of a feeding mechanism. The moment fish feels hungry, it should be in position to feed. So those are the things which needs to be developed using the AI. Next please. We have designed and developed an indigenous RS model for production of rainbow trout, that already I told you. Next. So where you can see that we have achieved the growth rate of 1 kg in 32 weeks at 11 to 20 degrees Celsius, standing biomass 37 kg per cubic meter. That is a system where we can keep up to 37 kg. That is what we have achieved. The 37 kg in 1 cubic meter is a huge amount if you see. The cost of production is somewhere around 250 to 270 per kg. Already I told you in the beginning. But we are selling at the rate of 600, so therefore it's not costly affair, because any business, if some of you are involved in the business or some of your parents are involved in the business, you know, any business is working only at the margin of 10 to 20%. So here even if you are producing at the rate of rupees 250 or even 270, and if you are selling at the rate of rupees 600, so almost double the margin is there. So no business can be more beneficial than this. And energy use is somewhere around 10 to 60 kilowatt hour per kg of the fish. This will go at a cost of production. Next please. So this is just the cost, how much it is involved. You can see payback period here 3.36. It means whatever expenditure is there. So this culture tanks, etc., around 23 lakhs is the expenditure. Okay. Operating cost 6.8 lakhs. Total fish production per year in this case will be 2,400 kg. Okay, that is for 14.4 lakhs rupees. Then depreciation 1.9%, because if you are taking the bank loan, so so you have to pay the interest and depreciation. That annual maintenance cost is 50,000, net profit is 5.2 lakhs. Then ultimately what does it mean? If you are putting this much money, in 3.5 years you are in position to recuperate all of your expenditure, and thereafter it starts actually generating the profit. Then normal farmer, how is he going to wait for 3 years? That is a very difficult question. So therefore we have to make use of this Prime Minister Sampada Yojana or other schemes where government is giving the subsidy to the farmer so that they can really do it. Then cost of production already I have told. Then payback period around 3.36 to 4 years, whatever you call. There is scope for cost reduction with culture tanks, aeration and energy use, and improve the productivity up to 80 kg. Now what we are talking about? 37 kg, 40 kg. But then there is a scope, we can take up the production up to 80 kg. Next please. Extending the research work to the field condition is a part of the RS actually at Leh Ladakh. It produced less than 60,000 fingerlings in Ladakh. This is first step towards the self-reliance on rainbow trout and fish production in Ladakh. Next please. Conclusion, maybe one or more slide, one or two. Despite the challenges, fish production from RS has steadily increasing globally during the last 10 years. In Asian countries, RS is being slowly adopted due to rising land prices and competitive limitation of water resources. In India, RS technology is actively promoted through various government schemes of PMSSY and NFDB. Then the driving force for increasing the adoption of RS technology could be increasing consumer awareness towards fish, safe and sustainable fish and seafood. Environmental advantage of RS could be another driving force. Next please. Significant opportunity that RS provides is the controlled and secured condition for intensive farming. It shows the culture of high value fish. This provides huge export potential and foreign exchange earning scope. RS in Indian context is still a baby step, but is potentially provides business opportunity. Multidisciplinary teamwork is required. Next. Thank you. This is our practice ceremony in Kargil. This one.
Any questions from the party?
Yeah, please feel free.
Excited to listen to you, and it's an amazing opportunity for me to really add to my knowledge. Sir, you mentioned about marine fish production is still same 4 million tons kind of from so many years. Sir, despite having many comprehensive fishing policies and regulations, why do we have low production, getting 4 million tons? What are the basic reasons? Like, sir, is there any factor responsible for it? Like, sir, environmental factor?
No, basic reason is how the human mind works. पानी पैसा में फेंक दिया, ये सुना है? So fish lives in the water. Okay. All other things, whether it is paddy cultivation, wheat cultivation, even buffalo, cow, poultry, everything is visible to the eyes. Fish is not visible to the eye. Okay. So what do we do? When the farmer starts fish culture, initially he feeds. And feed is one of the most important criteria. Almost 60% of the cost comes to the feed. And when farmer feed initially, after some time he realizes that a lot of money he is putting into the water. So nobody wants to put the money in the water. Then he stops feeding. And we do not monitor it properly. And since we are not in position to see the fish, whether it is really growing or not, whatever feed you are giving, so you are buying, using the money, so putting into the water. Now you do not know whether that feed has been really eaten by the fish or it has gone and settled down at the bottom. So therefore we stop feeding and we do not bother, we do not care. Otherwise, I will give you another example, contrast example. If you see the case of this Andhra farmers.
Yes, sir.
So they are producing in Andhra and selling it Srinagar.
Yes, sir.
So unless until it will be a profitable business, nobody will do it.
Yes, sir.
Am I right? Very
Yes.
simple. I've given two contrast examples. One I have given where people feel that they are throwing their money in the water and they stop throwing, nobody wants to throw because you are not in position to see the fish, whether it is growing, whether it is eating or not. At the same time, you see the people in Andhra, they are culturing the fish in one of the district and they are selling in Guwahati, they are selling in the Srinagar. How much transportation cost must be involved? And still it is profitable, then only they are selling. If they are not getting any money, why will they send to Srinagar? They will not send. So that is one of the very important area. And then another important area is that, see, in the country like India, most are really happy having the government job. We don't want to do any blue collar job. We all want to do the white collar job. That is our mindset. But if you are now cold water, how cold it is really, isn't it? We are unable to take the bath in the morning. We need the geyser. We need the heater to sleep. So when you are putting your hand in the water, where you are culturing the fish, so obviously it will be cold. So you must be in position to enjoy that. You need to develop the passion. You can do really wonderful. A lot of scope is there.
Thank you.
No, now you see, a country like India having 140 crore of the population. In 1950, our population was 1/3 of this what we have today. But still we were not in position to feed all the mouth. People were starving. Only when ships were coming from America and all the places, then people were getting their food. So we are called a country of ship to mouth. Like hand to mouth, it was called ship to mouth. Means people were waiting, let the ship arrive from US or somewhere carrying the wheat, etc. Then people will eat. Now our population is grown 3 times, but still we are in position to feed. It means there is a scope and possibility that we can really increase the fish production. I am giving you a very practical example.
Yes, sir. Sir, really it added to my knowledge, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, I am really grateful and thankful to have you here. You presented the lecture on recirculatory aquaculture system. Sir, it's really an honor to listen to you. You mentioned all the things like how RAS works and especially the production trends and conceptualizing students with the coastline. And in the middle of the lecture, you said that Jannat jaoge or Jahannam jaoge depends upon the moral values that really inspires us. I hope participants have enjoyed and have grasped from this lecture. It's really an honor to have you here. Thank you so much.
I hope you have got something. And if somebody is interested, especially students, you can be in the contact. Even if you want to do some research, you can walk down to Uttarakhand.